Hello and welcome to this very quick and simple tutorial. Um, this is really just for the FS5, FS5, FS7 groups. Sorry. Um, yeah. So working with S-Log, handing over footage, and being worried about your overexposure being treated correctly, and sometimes it's a dilemma because you don't want to hand over a Rec 709 look, or you may be going down the HDR workflow, but you have overexposed footage via your Cine-Ei, or for the FS5, for example, you're using a monitor recorder that has an exposure compensated LUT built in, um, or you're using your own that you've created in LUTCalc, and that exposure that you've found. Sorry about that. The exposure that you have found on set may be mishandled in post by whoever the colorist is, or it may even be that it's just a simple project that's going to an editor who's not a colorist, and the idea is that he was just going to color correct the footage and make a very small minor tweak. So um, thanks to Katie Smith, she let us use some S-Log3 footage from a recent short film, Run Run. Run Run as fast as you can. And yeah, this will help her. This will be perfect for our needs today. So I'm just going to scan through a bit to here. Okay, this footage was lit with a light meter. Well, it was lit by the sun, but my exposure on set was one stop over. I couldn't get two stops because it was quite dense forest. It was later in the day, so this is two stops over, one stop over. We have that in our notes from our great second assistant Mel. Um, so this is the way it would work, right? So if if you was just applying, if you was just going to Rec 709, you'd only need one node, and you'd have your exposure compensated LUT ready to go, and off you go, you're done. But for people that want a bit more control, or want to be able to hand over S-Log footage that isn't already transformed to a completely different color gamut and is still, is still wide color gamut, is still S-Log, still log. This is the way I do it. If you had an FS7, you could apply these LUTs internally to the burning side of things. It would burn it into the footage, so it'd be physically pulling it down, much the same way the Aria Mirror, the Alexa, and the Blackmagic Ursa work. They transform the gamma in camera and pull it down. Some people, and I'm one of them, says that it's a little inflexible because the footage is already pulled down. You might not want to do that, but the reason we do exposure compensation is purely basically we're shifting the dynamic range lower down, um, and boosting our highlights. Boosting our shadows and our midtones. So anyway, okay. So the first node. So this is just a simple workflow. It's not like I'm grading or anything like this. It's just color correcting. Sorry, I have a very bad cold. First 3D LUT I create. So I've got one set up for FS5 and FS7. They're exactly the same, but the names are different. So this is S-Log3. So if I was working with the FS7, whatever EI I picked, ISO EI I picked is the LUT I would choose. This was the FS5. This would make no difference. A one-stop pull on the FS5 is 1000 ISO on the FS7, because the FS7's native is 2000. One stop down from that is 1000. 2000, and one stop down is 1000. So it really doesn't make much of a difference. However, FS5, let's stay true to what my process was on set. So one stop over, here's the S-Log correction. It's very minor, very small, and that's where I feel like I feel that that's what the benefit is in using the LUT. To be able to make such a small adjustment on the fly, via your own judgment, clip to clip, all the way through a project, for me, it's just crazy. You know, it just is simple as that. I just think it is. I think you'll find you go too far. You think you've crushed the blacks. You lift the blacks a little bit, and before you know it, you've kind of shifted the color balance around simply by the distortion of the red, green, and blue that you're doing. It's not always exactly, especially when you work with S gamut from S-log2. It's not exactly, you know, I mean, it is log, but it doesn't happen in a linear fashion. It happens in a log fashion. So when you use a LUT, it pulls the LUTs down, it pulls the levels down mathematically. So there's that. I'll create a new node, and now this is now just regular S-log at native exposure, and that could be. And now I can use any LUT I want from any company that makes Sony. So I'll go to the default Sony ones that are built in. So S-log3 Cine to Rec 709. That's their one. LC 709, the low contrast. There's that one. Type A. Much of a difference. Then we've got my ones. Let's have a look. So I've got some S-log LT LUTs that are made via LUT Calc. They take the VariCam Rec 709 curve and the the V709 gamut, and that's where it takes the log to. I quite like it. Art Adams is the guy who showed me that over at Pro Video Coalition. I think it looks great, and that's the way I usually go. So let's go for. So look, I'm only going to pick S-log3LT, not any of the exposure compensations, just the S-log3LT. Click that. There you go. Simple as that. I'll create one more node, and I'll disable this, and just to show, this is why LUT Calc is so simple, because I would just, now I could just go, right, well I want S-log3, so these are just the logs, sorry. This is the Rec 709 with the VariCam LT curve. So this was S-log3, one stop overexposed, as we know. So S-log3 LT for the VariCam LT, -1, boom, there we go. So there's that. So let me show you. So this is S-log3 compensated by one stop with the Rec 709 curve from the VariCam LT. I disable that. Engage this is the compensation. This is just the VariCam LT LUT by itself with no exposure compensation. And there you go. Makes no difference. To create this LUT now, you've got these two. I'll leave that disabled for a minute. So now from here you could generate a 3D LUT from this, and then you've now created a LUT that is an exposure compensation and a color gamut transform. So you're kind of doing exactly the same thing. So yeah, please don't overcomplicate it. I mean, I'll disable these. This is the way you guys were kind of suggesting. Oh, let's undo that. I'll tell you what, I'll leave this. Let's go from here. No, I'm an idiot. Node, add a serial node for current. There we go. So this would just be coming straight from the footage, and then it hits the tree and goes through. What you guys were doing was, let's just say, we'll grab curves, and you're pulling your levels down a bit. I mean, like, in order to try and stay in log, you're pulling the curves down a little bit. Or let's say you was in the wheels, you would grab the offset. My system is painfully slow. And the thing is that there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. If we bring up my, God, you can tell I'm not a colorist, can't you? I'm really, really bad. Yeah, video scopes on. Get it to sort itself out. There we go. Right, if I'm going to disable that node and just enable this one, you can see the exposure is pulled down and then it's stretched out to be Rec 709. Let's get rid of that. If we look at this one, just pulls the levels down. See? But you see how it's not uniform, how it's not a shift. So it's not, double click this. and reset that. It's not doing this. You see how that's just sliding everything down? Yeah. What that's doing, in order to get the white at the right level for a -1 stop, you end up crushing the blacks and moving the midtones too low. So yeah, you can achieve it via this. How would you do it? So you would be having to know, from a scene like this, um, where your blacks need to be, where your midtones should be, and then where the whites should be. You know, that for me is just overcomplicated when I can just go that. And this is not cheating. This is not. These are our tools, guys. This is stuff available to us. There's nothing special about doing it here. That's just kind of stupid, really. It is. It's we're we're talking about camera. We're a camera operators. First and foremost, that's what we're talking about here. Being able to deliver footage that is exactly how we saw on set. Or to not overcomplicate things. But anyway, I mean, I'm moving into a rant territory, and there's nothing. I've got nothing against how you guys want to go and do this sort of thing. It's all cool. I've got no problems with it. But yeah, happy to send anyone the links. They're simple LUTs. You can make them in LUTCalc. Fully recommend LUTCalc. It's like £2.29 on the App Store. It's very, very easy. Very, very easy to use. It's dead simple. And then if you read the information that's available, it's quite a powerful little program. If you go one step further, you've got 3D LUT Calc, it's 3D LUT Creator, sorry, and that's even more advanced. It's a paid program of around $200, but it's very, very powerful. I mean, it's more about color. That program in particular lets you really get into the color gamut and realign the color gamut, change things massively. It's way beyond the scope of me, a camera operator and a DP. Sorry, a cinematographer. My job is really just to hand over the exposure I found on set, and if the exposure I found on set is hot, then that's what I'm handing over. So I want to be able to sort of go, well, I was overexposing on purpose for this, but this is the footage I'm intending to give you. But yeah, anyway, hope that helps. Yeah, thanks again to Katie for letting us use the footage. And that's it. See you guys. Bye.